Welcome back to the Flip Flop Fab Shop. Decided to take a trip to Colorado and decided to take the Land Cruiser there. So, I thought I was done working on stuff. And then decided to take it on a trip, and then you realize you got a lot more stuff to do. So, what we're gonna do is now it's like the prep stage for Colorado. So, I've realized that the braking on the Land Cruiser is terrible. I don't know if it's stopped bad from the factory or if it's because it's lifted and old and stuff like that. So I got the extended brake lines, I got the regular brake lines that are short for the axle to the brakes. And then in this video we're also going to be getting new tires, and I'm going to do a baseline brake test where I don't touch anything, and then we're going to do a brake test after I replace everything, then a brake test with the all-terrain. So stay tuned. The end of the video is when I'll be showing the brake test and all the numbers and everything. So alright, so I'm doing a brake test on the Land Cruiser because I'm about to do all 7 brake lines and then flush the whole reservoir with .3 synthetic. There's that water bottle down there, and this is the first one. So I would start at that green trash can, hit 45 or 47, but 45, 47-ish. And then at that water bottle, hit the brakes. And then where I end up, that's where I put a water bottle. So now we did the brake test. Before we do the brake lines and before the tires, this is just what it's been for the past 5 years. Now we're going to replace all 7 brake lines, put new .3 synthetic. I tried to go with .4, but AutoZone didn't have .4. They were out somehow. But we're going to completely flush the reservoir and then do the brake test again and see what the result of that is. And then once we do that, I should be getting new tires next week, and I want to test how those do because these are 7 years old and they're mud terrains. I want to see what all terrains will do. They're probably lighter, so but yeah, I'll write down what it all stopped in the first, second, and third brake test before any work. I'll put them all side by side so we can see that. But now for the fun stuff. Let's see here. These are the new extended brake lines. So if you lift your Land Cruiser, your FZJ80, FJ80, if you lift it, you're going to want extended brake lines. On the front, there are 2 brake lines that go, so the brake lines go from the axle and up, and then you have your brake lines going from your axle to each wheel. So you don't need to extend the ones on the axle. You need to extend the ones that go from the body to the axle. So this is what these are for. These are extended by like 3 inches or something. These are from Metal Tech. They're stainless steel, braided. And I think these are about 110 shipped to my door. Comes with the new things. And I'll go ahead and show you all what we're replacing. You see this line right here? That's one we're extending. And this line that goes right here and up, we're replacing that one. Well, that's the extended one. So there's 2 up here that you need to extend. Then let's run to the back. Then this one right here, we're extending that one too. And then these are just your regular brake lines to your axle. Well, your axle to your brakes. Now, mine were a little rusty right here. So what I did for like a week straight is I was spraying with PB Blaster one day, next day WD-40. Don't this focus? And I would just keep doing that over and over again. Took a wire brush to them right there. Just tried to clean them up, and then you're gonna need a 10mm line wrench to get all these fittings off. And then you're gonna need a 17mm line wrench for stuff like this right here. This is not focusing for some reason. So that's a 17mm. Oh, I broke all of them. Well, not broke them. I broke them loose. Broke all of them loose. Made sure none of them were seized in there, because some of them were a little corroded. So I made sure of that, and now I'm going to replace them all. I also ordered exhaust hangers that I'm gonna put on myself. And then I got, these are the part numbers for all the brake lines that aren't extended, all just your regular brake lines. I got them all Beck & Arnley. I trust Beck & Arnley. So there's the part numbers for those. You get 2 front lowers. They're the same. So here they are. I don't know if they come with new copper washers. Kind of wish they did. Maybe they're hiding somewhere. We're gonna do extended ones first, and then work on each wheel brake line. All right, so what I'm gonna do is on the side I'm working on, I'm gonna turn the brake bleeder and drain the fluid out into this bottle. And I learned this from Chris Fix. He used just a rubber hose and tied a zip tie to the end to cinch it down a little bit so that it kind of clips onto the brake bleeder. So whatever side I'm working on, I'm gonna drain the fluid out of that side. That way when I break the hoses off, it doesn't just pour brake fluid out, because that wouldn't be any fun. So there we go. So here is under the front axle. There's a brake line, and there's right there your 10mm line wrench, and then pry this bracket, flat clip out. Then here's one of your extended ones, goes from here to there on the front. That's on the passenger side. And then your other one's right here. There we go. Keep turning. Okay, so got all of the chassis to axle brake lines off. This is the driver's side, passenger side, and then the rear one. Now for some reason these aren't labeled, so you kind of have to, I had to label these to make sure I don't get them mixed up. So the driver is the longest one, so this is the longest one in the kit. Passenger side is the shortest one, so this is the shortest one in the kit. And then the rear is the second longest. All right, so this is the passenger front extended brake line. This is like the best one to show, so I'm gonna show this one. And it has 2 clips over here. So we got it kind of started in there. Now I'm going to take my brass hammer. Alright. It might be a little tricky to hit with the hammer. All right. Now, this brake line goes in there. It'll focus. And I am gonna put a little dab of anti-seize on the threads. Make sure not to get it in the actual channel where the brake fluid goes through. But these are a little crusty, so I wanna make sure, I don't know, in another, if I ever have to service these again, that they're not hard to get off. So you gotta line this guy, this hose, into this one before you put the clip in, because it won't bend enough out of the way to get back in there. So now I'll put some more anti-seize on there and then cincher down, and then we're gonna have to back this one out so I can put the brake line back in. All right, so the rear extended brake line's in. Passenger side new brake line is in. Now I'll show you how to do the rear axle brake line right here. You need your 10 line wrench. I tend to like to break it with the line wrench and then back it off with a regular wrench. And then this is a 14 on the caliper. So I'll show you how to do that and take this clip out. All right, so I broke the brake line to the caliper loose. It's really hard. I don't have a good place to put my camera. Size 10. Okay. And you will have brake fluid dripping out. I tried to drain some of it out, but didn't get it all. Just keep backing all this off. Now that it's completely loose, you just take this tab, pry up, This one's a little tricky. After you get that clip out, I clean up where the new clip goes. Just take a rag to it. Alright. Then I clean up the hole where the brake line goes, the 14mm bolt goes. Right there. And I didn't buy new washers. I should have, but I thought it would come with washers, but apparently not. So I'm just reusing the old ones and snugging them down really tight. If they leak, it's not that hard to undo that one bolt and put new washers on it. I'll just have to bleed them a little bit again, so. All right, that one's all done. Took about 10 minutes. All right, so we're on the passenger front. There's my extended one. And it has the little hard line that goes from here to here. So now I need to get this clip out. Get that clip out, take a 14, then I'm gonna have to put the hard line one end into here before I clip it back, and then should be good. These new ones, these stainless ones look sick. All right, I got all the brake lines installed. This is some of the old fluid, just a little bit that I took out before I replaced the lines. Just that looks awful. So hopefully we can get that clear. Hopefully we can bleed these things. All right, so the reservoir's empty. That'll make it easier to bleed. I'm gonna go in some .4 synthetic Prestone. Fill this up to the top. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. It's crystal clear. Mine's brown, so. All right, now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna have someone get in the truck and pump the brakes for me. I'm gonna start on that far corner, go there, 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 then here. Hopefully we can get them bled good. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, but hopefully we can get her did. Alright, so it's the last ride on the Federal Coragia, I don't know how you say them, mud tires. After work I'm getting some Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws put on. And those are all-terrain, so they should be a lot quieter. Alright guys, here's the new tires I got. They are Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. They're 3-peak mountain rated or whatever for like snow, ice, rain. 315 75 16s, same size as the old tires I had. I went with these tires, one, because I didn't want them to be super loud like these were. Because I was kind of used to these, but man, if I was on a road trip for like 9 hours and had to listen to those, it might drive me nuts. So I figured all-terrains would aid in that problem. And I'm not doing crazy stuff, you know? So I don't think mud tires are really necessary at this point. So I decided on all-terrains, and then I could only come down to two options: KO2s, BFG KO2s, or the Falcon Wild Peak AT3s. And KO2s are really popular. My dad even had those on his old Land Cruiser. He loved them, but I don't know. Everyone's got them. I don't like being like everybody else. And I also heard apparently these are supposed to be really good in winter conditions, where the KO2s I guess aren't. And they can't be that bad, but I don't know. I like the way these look too. I like the tread pattern. They look cool, I think. And I like this little thing here. So they're a lot quieter on the highway. Like, so much better on the highway. You can't even tell you're riding on 35s. And it still gives it that look that it can go off-road. So now we're going to do the brake test. There's two ways this can go. These have a better contact patch compared to mud tires, but I think they're also heavier because they're a lot closer together in tread pattern, and they got a lot of meat on them compared to my old tires. These are spread apart, not as deep now. So, but those are also pretty dry rotted and hard. So I don't know. Fixing to find out though. Okay guys, here are the results. So before I did anything, at 45 miles per hour, it stopped in 115 feet 6 inches. Then it stopped at 106 feet 3 inches, and then 96 feet 10 inches. The average stopping distance was 106 feet 3 inches. So now, after I replaced all the brake lines and bled them with .4 synthetic, it then stopped in the first brake test, stopped in 82 feet 3 inches. Then it stopped in 90 feet 7 inches, and then 78 feet and 5 inches. The average was 83 feet 9 inches. So it was, on average, it was 22 feet and 6 inches better stopping distance from 45 miles per hour. That is pretty crazy. And both of these are still with the mud tires. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the Falcons. Nothing's changed. Still .4 synthetic and brake lines, just new tires now. All terrain instead of mud tires. So now it stopped in 92 feet, 91 feet, and 88 feet 6 inches. And the average was 90 feet 6 inches. It was 15 feet and 9 inches better on average than before. I thought the all-terrains would have done a little better than that. And okay, so obviously there's some variation here. Maybe when I hit 78 feet 5 inches, maybe I hit the brakes 2 or 3 feet earlier than my cone, you know? So this isn't 100% accurate, but it's close. So these two numbers may be closer than what we have here, but as you can see with the all-terrains, you can see how close all three stopping distances were to each other. But then the mud tires, they're all spread out. My theory is maybe the all-terrains were they're heavier. You can see here, this is what I had on it before. These lugs are really spread out. And so I don't think there's as much weight on the actual outside of it. Then you come over here. I just think these all-terrains have a lot more rubber, if you know what I'm saying. They're probably heavier. But either way, stopping almost 16 feet better per run is still pretty good. I'm happy with that. So, moral of the story, if you lift your Land Cruiser, put the extended brake lines on, and flush your brake fluid. It's probably really old, so I'm happy with this. Hopefully it helped you guys. I highly recommend doing it, especially since it's a safety thing, you know. I did it because Colorado, I didn't want to be coming down switchbacks and losing my brakes because my brake fluid was boiling because it looked like Coca-Cola. So that'll be it for this one. Next video will be me completely flushing the entire cooling system. New thermostat O-ring, hoses, and some other miscellaneous stuff in that video. So stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching, guys.